Hi guys, welcome to Monday Moments with Fran on a Sunday. I hope that you're really well. I'm delighted to have Fiona Johnson Bygrave with me today. Do you want to say hi, Fiona?
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming on today. And as you know, Monday Moments is all about encouraging people, encouraging them in all aspects of their lives. And Fiona, if you want to just take a couple of minutes and share a little bit about who you are and what you're really passionate about.
Sure. First and foremost, thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this. I am Fiona Johnson Bygrave. I am the founder of the I Am Fearless Academy. I am a trauma specialist, a transformative coach who is a trauma specialist, and I help women leverage what they already have to overcome trauma, mainly because trauma, it manifests itself in so many ways that it affects how we actually show ourselves self-love. And then it manifests in how we maintain boundaries and things like that. So it's really important that we really embrace self-love, and it allows us to overcome trauma.
Sure. So it's really focusing on trauma, right? Because
Yes.
I think a lot of adults have experienced trauma in some form or the other. And some of it, if I'm correct, will go back from childhood days, from being an adolescent. And then even as adults, you know, we go through things and sometimes we don't always acknowledge it as trauma, but you obviously are really experienced and a specialist to see that it affects a lot of different people.
Yeah, trauma is like on a scale, on a spectrum. And as you quite rightly said, everybody experiences trauma. We have varying degrees of trauma, and it's got a stigma attached to it that we think that trauma has got to be something major, but it's not. It can be something small and it can just affect us. And what's really important to understand and appreciate about trauma is it leaves an imprint. I call it like a residue. On your mind, your body, and your brain. So even though we try and ignore it, or not acknowledge it, and just, you know, try and carry on with our lives, that effect, that residue is just sitting and building inside of us and manifest itself in various ways. And so it's really important that we do acknowledge that we've been through trauma, because it can be from bullying to domestic violence. You know, it could be narcissistic abuse from a caregiver. It can be, you know, and so it's really important that we understand that trauma is trauma. No matter what it is, it's trauma. Stubbing your toe on the ironing board is trauma. Okay, so it's really important just to appreciate and understand and acknowledge trauma.
Sure, absolutely. And it's funny you should talk about stubbing your toe, because I was telling my chiropractor this week that, you know, I broke my toe a couple of years ago, and actually, you know, it's amazing how one little accident, you know, yes, in my physical body, but it can still impact other parts of my body. And in the same way, when we go through trauma, it can impact us emotionally, mentally, and, you know, in our soul and those other things. So yeah, I completely can relate to that.
Definitely.
In terms of people maybe listening, or they may have experienced some level of trauma, what are a couple of ways that we could really encourage them to support in that particular area?
Okay, so a couple of ways that we can start our journey of transformation to overcome trauma is, one of them is to start rewriting limiting beliefs and flipping them into positive affirmations. And the other one is to really become attuned with your body and your breathing, because memories, I mentioned earlier, they leave an imprint and they can store in muscles as tension and pain. So sometimes a lot of clients experience backache, fibromyalgia, migraines, headaches, and it's actually come from a traumatic event that stored and manifested itself in the body, in the muscles, causing that pain. So breathing is key to all of that, and kind of embracing mindfulness and guided kind of breathing, so that you are really directing the breathing, thinking about it, how it resonates in the body. Notice how your breathing changes when you are triggered.
Sure.
You know, when you get triggered, your breathing becomes shorter, you become quite intense, your temperature, your body temperature, your core temperature rises. And when you learn to breathe and really take that kind of breathing and focus and guided breathing and really internalize it, you then kick in and activate your parasympathetic system, your nervous system. That actually is linked to your slowing down your heart rate. It conserves energy. It increases your intestinal activity. It also allows you to move from the right side to the left side of your brain. So you're able to then be more rational, okay? Because when we become triggered, we become irrational. And when you start doing some breathing tips and breathing exercise, just simple things, it allows you to become grounded in the present. Sure. Because trauma is an event that happened in the past. And when it triggers you, it takes you back to the past. So we have to remain present in that safe space right now to allow ourselves to know, okay, this happened, but it's not happening right now. We are safe. And so we're able to come out of that and be grounded in the present. It's really important to stay present in all of this so that you don't build a tent and stay in that triggered environment. We need to stay safe and grounded.
Sure. Yeah, that makes so much sense. And I think sometimes we do it to other people when they're in a traumatic state. And so if somebody's heard some really bad news or they're incredibly stressful, say to them, it's okay, calm down, or tell them to breathe. But actually, I would say we don't as often say that to ourselves when we are experiencing some sort of emotional or mental trauma, or because it's not about what's happening just now. But like you said, it's important to remain in the present and still take care of ourselves. And I love that you use, self-love and really supporting yourself by focusing and allowing your whole body to calm down.
Yes, definitely. And the other thing I mentioned earlier, which was the limiting beliefs, because quick example. So when we go back to childhood, and these beliefs are things that we put in place that impact how we see the world, how we interact with others and things like that. So when you were younger, say for example, you were asked to read a book and you do a word, you say a word and the children laugh. Now, children that are 5 years old laugh over silliness. They're not actually laughing at you, they're just laughing. But you don't know that. So you frame and you connect that laughing with your reading. That then forms a limiting belief that you can't read. And it affects your public speaking, it affects how you read throughout your whole childhood, schooling, career, university, and things like that. And you build a belief system based on that event that happened, which is actually from a false kind of situation because you weren't informed correctly of what was actually happening. So you've taken it upon yourself to assume they were laughing at me. So that means I'm not going to speak, I can't do this. And you formed a limiting belief. And so it's about flipping that on the head and turning it into a positive affirmation and understanding and realizing that, no, that's not what happened. I can read. And then you flip it on the head and you build new belief systems that allow you to flourish and fly.
Sure, absolutely. And I think also because coaching is what I do, it really is the absolute truth for a lot of people. And, public speaking is one of the areas that I really coach a lot on. And for a lot of people, it's things that have happened way back when, which is their barrier, or like their limiting belief about why they can't do something, or they build up a lot of anxiety about it. And before you know it, they've replayed out a whole scenario before it's actually happened. And so, to be able to stop and I love the term reframing it into something different, or like you said, turning it into a positive affirmation is absolutely helpful.
Definitely.
Brilliant. So one final word of encouragement to those out there as they enter their new week.
Pay attention to your body. Notice how your emotions are linked to your breathing and your body, and pay attention to the signs, because your body is always communicating with you. It's always telling you things. And it's really important that we become one and really hear what it's saying and look after it. We only get one. So that would be my tip. And to allocate some time, intentionally allocate some time to spend time with you and your body.
Fantastic. Great. Fiona, thank you so much. I am going to link Fiona's details below because she's got a great event coming up, and there's other things that if this has been an area of interest, you may want to follow her on social media and learn more about what she does. But Fiona, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're so welcome. Guys, take care of yourselves. Have a great week ahead. And as always, don't forget to encourage somebody else. Take care.